Oh boy, this is gonna be controversial. There comes a time in every person's life where you gotta look somebody in the eye and you gotta say, bullshit. All right, controversy on Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there were a couple forum posts coming down the pipeline, a little more information about Grand Arena Championships, which I do want to get to here in this video. However, first and foremost, something that a lot of people have been concerned about as of late is, where are these rewards that were promised? And this post came from Crumb, and I'm going to say here right now, Crumb, I'm going to call you out here. I'm going to call you out, buddy. Now, I don't know if it's you, I don't know if it's somebody telling you what to say. I'm not going to make this personal because actually I've met you, Crumb, and I'm going to tell you all right now, Crumb is like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. I love you, Crumb. But I'm going to call BS. Like I call BS to one of my best friends who's telling me something. I'm like, I'm not buying it. We're good friends, but I don't like this thing you're saying right now. Anyway, so here's what it is. So he says here, this was May 28th. He announces the June event calendar's live, and notice, no Grand Arena. And no Grand Arena was controversial. I'm not a big fan of that. And it's also something else I'll get into here, is it looks like that is going to be for the full month of June almost, which really sucks. But anyway, and then he explains at the end of this post, in light of this, we are looking to offset the rewards you normally receive with some other events. And so the promise is made here by Capital Games in the official capacity on the forums in dev news and announcements on May 28th that we are going to receive rewards to offset what we, quote, normally receive with some other events, specifically in reference to Grand Arena. Now, what do you normally receive from Grand Arena? A lot of, you're going to receive mostly the mod slicing materials. That's going to be the most important part of this. So I'm going in here in my game right now I'm trying to remember what it's called. The Mark II Pulse modulator is a big part of that, which is something you can only get from guild shipments, from the Shard store, and then from Grand Arena. And I think it's shown up in a few other capacities, but those are the normal places you get that. All right, so that's one of the most normalized parts of that Grand Arena reward. And then we have, let's just fast forward ahead to June 4th. This post is made where we're talking about Grand Arena Championships are coming. We're going to prepare for Grand Arena Championships with double drops. That's awesome. Now notice here, I see absolutely zero mention of Grand Arena compensation in here, that this has anything to correlate with the Grand Arena rewards that we normally receive. It says, get prepared to compete in Grand Arena Championships with the following bonuses. Hard and normal nodes and light side and dark side battles receiving double drops from 6.8 to 6.10. Nodes and Cantina battles, blah, 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 blah. And then it talks about Basla on the bench is a title that's been added that you can get. That's pretty hard to get. Updated standalone, blah, blah, blah. I do not see anything in there that says anything about that being anything to do with those Grand Arena rewards that were promised to be made up for. Cue today. We have got this Reddit post. There's been about 3 Reddit posts every day saying, where are the Grand Arena compensated rewards? And we finally get a response from Crumb. And again, Crumb, I'm calling you out. I'm calling BS. You're my friend. I like you, but
I like you, but you're crazy.
He says, apologies for the confusion. This is on Reddit. This was pretty heavily downvoted, by the way. The double drops are the additional events we scheduled to make up for the lack of TBs this month. Notice, he says TBs. He means GAs. This is not designed to be a one-for-one replacement for all the materials you would have earned from GA, but gives you the option to focus on farming whatever gear and squads you need to prepare for Grand Arena Championships. So, basically now we're going back to our June 4th post on June 11th and saying, so this is almost a full week later, and we're saying, oh yeah, those double drops, That's what we were talking about on May 28th, those, making up for those normal rewards. But keep in mind the wording that he uses here on this post on May 28th, where he says, in light of this, we're looking to offset the rewards you normally receive with some other events. And then in here, he says that it's not meant to be a one-to-one replacement for all the materials you would have earned from GA. And so look, I'm just calling BS on this. I don't think that this is what their plan was all along. I think that they planned on replacing those words a little more, one for one. Now, if it's not apples to apples, fine, but this is a pretty big departure. The biggest part of Grand Arena rewards that a lot of us looked forward to were the mod slicing materials, especially that modulator, the Mark II Pulse modulator. Now, mod slicing materials were included in those double drops. That was part of it, but you don't have any option in those that, at least that I've ever seen. Maybe there's a battle in here somewhere where you can get it. I don't think there is, but where you were able to get those slicing materials, and you can't get that Mark II modulator anywhere in there. Furthermore, and this is a bit nitpicky, but I do find it a bit curious that the first post from Crumb on May 28th says, we're looking to offset the rewards you normally receive with some other events, through events. He says specifically in this post on Reddit where he clears up the confusion, so to speak, he talks about how the double drops are the quote-unquote events that they refer to. But in this post where they announce those double drops, nothing says that it's an event. It just says, get ready to compete in Grand Arena Championships with the following bonuses. And I do think it is notable that part of the reason why I think a lot of people are jumping on this is because we have set a precedent that when we're making up for lost rewards, we receive something pretty close to 1v1 or one-on-one. You get almost exactly what you would have got otherwise. This is such a drastic departure and encapsulates so many other things that have nothing to do with Grand Arena Awards that it's just hard to see it as anything but a totally different thing. So, look, CG, I'm going to voice the opinion of the people here. I think we were misled on this one. I think you need to dial this back and consider giving us the rewards that were promised. I don't believe that is what you intended with the Grand Arena or with the bonuses. Otherwise, you would have said that it was your intent. Look, I'm not asking for much. All I think is necessary is that we realize what was said on May 28th, that we're going to have those rewards offset that you normally receive through some kind of event or some kind of deposit. I'll take even that. Now, a couple other tidbits of information. We did have 2 posts hit the forums today. I'm just going to summarize those real quick for you because I spent a lot of time complaining. The first post was right here by Crumb. It's a brief post just talking about the pace of light side, dark side territory battles, and it mentions, this is pretty notable, I think, that the new Geonosis territory battle is anticipated to come with a new title update, which is going to be they're expecting the first instance to be arriving late this month, shortly after the update is available in the store. So I think it's notable that probably encompasses both Grand Arena Championships and the new territory battle, because I believe we're not going to see Grand Arena Championships until we get that title update. And so that kind of gives us a scope. I thought it was coming sooner, but we're actually looking more like at the end of the month for both of those to hit, which is, I mean, I want him to get it right, but I'm also a bit disappointed because we haven't had anything. We haven't had a Grand Arena. Where's my Grand Arena? I'm not crying. I'm not crying. You're crying. And then we had finally this big post here that talks about Grand Arena Championships and how the leaderboards are going to work a bit and the GP division. So it confirms that each league, we've got all the way up to Kyber League, they're all going to be segmented based on your galactic power. And rewards are going to scale accordingly so that basically you're going to get better rewards based on what your GP is. The way that they say it, though, is he says here, divisions will allow banners to matter at all GP levels towards your championship score, enough to create a small amount of pressure to optimize attacks and defenses, but not too much pressure to take focus off winning the match. And then, oh, here it is, tip 2, or point 2. Players will get a set of rewards that are a better fit for their life cycle needs. So that's a nice way of saying you're going to get better rewards for higher galactic power, probably. They do talk about how you're going to lock into your division based on galactic power, but then after you're locked into into your division. If your galactic power changes, it's not going to bump you into a different division. So for the Grand Arena Championships are going to be a 5-week event, and once you're locked into your division, you stay there, and so you can expand your galactic power, etc. But it's just the very beginning where they've got the matchmaking that happens, I would presume, where that division matters. It talks a little bit about offsetting GP differences. I'm here on point 4. If the GP difference across players is great enough, the matchmaking will also default to the lowest number of defenses required by division between the two players. And then they hit on how divisions are going to create long-term goals for players, which I think kind of makes sense. There's a bit more information in here I definitely recommend checking out, but the final points to me are that we're going to have different divisions scaled on galactic power. The rewards are going to be different based on galactic power. Also mentioned that people who are at the very top of their leaderboards are going to get bonus rewards, and also that those leaderboards only go 50 spaces deep. I think that's a bit disappointing because with how many people play this game, it's going to be tough to make the top 50. I'd like it to be a little bit more realistic. I feel like, I'm pretty competitive, but I'm thinking, am I really going to make top 50? I don't know. It'd be cool to make the leaderboard, right? So there is a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline with Grand Arena and territory battles, but we are getting blue balled, my friends. We're going to have to wait for it until the end of the month, which sucks, but I'm not going to complain too much about that because I do want them to get it right as much as I want it right now. I'd rather it come a couple weeks later and have us get something that's polished and ready rather than right now and have it be super clunky. That said, not letting you off the hook, Crumb. I'm calling PS on this post. I do not think that double drops are what you guys had in mind based on the wording you had here, and I think we need to make this right. We do need to have compensation for those Grand Arenas that were taken away, especially in the form of my Mark II modulators, which were not a part of the benefit of double drops whatsoever. So, what do you guys think? Are you upset about this, or am I out of base? Am I just being a crybaby on the internet, which I get told every time I'm negative? That's fine. You think I'm a crybaby? I did cry in this video. I shed a real man tear in this video. Call me on my crap if you need to. You know what? I need it. Thanks again for joining me for the video, my friends, and as always, my brothers, don't forget
my dead body. Sorry about the mess.